All right, so welcome back. This is part two.
Yeah.
So this is a continuation from the last video. So we were just Luke was just sharing about one of his amazing experiences in the group Ignite the Light Within when he connected to one of the girls' past loved ones in spirit and the energy that he was feeling and how he had to recognize that, and he also had to speak up, and this was quite a strong new experience for him, and I guess quite
Mm.
overwhelming as well too, but in sharing that it was able to bring it all to light and to bring some understanding and some validation around that as well.
Definitely, yeah, yeah. It was cool.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was a bit more than cool. It was very
Yeah, it was a lot. It was pretty special, to be
It
honest.
was
Yeah,
very special. It was very special, and certainly for the girl that received that message as well, it was very special. And I think that's the important role that we play here with our mediumship abilities. Is what that means to the person that receives that information, that connection, or the validation. And the families and the ripple effect that that has for people.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey
So,
ho.
that will be I have a 10 pounds of chicken moment, which I won't go into, but they're those memorable moments that, are the keys for us when we do make that connection. We start to understand that this is very real. But then also, how important that is for the person that receives that, and as we go forward on this journey and as you go forward, you'll come to understand, I'm pretty sure you already do, how what an honor this is,
Yeah,
to work
yeah,
with people for the people that come to us, like you, coming to me and having a reading with me, and then choosing to do the trainings and all of that. There's a big trust
yeah,
that people
yeah,
put in people like us. We have a responsibility. um,
yeah,
yeah, and that's the point I want to make about that, is that an emotion, and the depth of that connection and what that can do for someone.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've had a bit of a
Uh,
taste of that.
I have, yeah, yes, I have had a couple of experiences now, and yeah, it's been a real eye opener. It's just something that, especially experiencing it in that sense, being not in dream state and being quite conscious and aware and awake and uh, and receiving those experiences. So yeah,
Mm. And
definitely what she got out and what I've seen that he had got out of it as well. I said my energy started off really dark and heavy, and to the point where I thought I was having a panic attack, and I was able to sort of then relax myself a bit more and was shown a lot of stuff, and it was validated for her. It meant nothing to me, but definitely meant everything to her. And yeah, it was yeah, it all made sense in the end. So
absolutely. And that's another key point. Most of this information means nothing to us, but again, hence why that trust is needed, just to speak up and share things, because we don't know what it means to somebody else.
yeah,
Um, and we don't understand them. And even spirit, in the way in what they share, like they choose to share that information with us, and we can only deliver that in the best of our ability. And you've done an amazing job, because that was a really new experience for you.
it was very much so. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bit full on,
Yeah, very
but it
full
was,
on.
oh,
And
it
it
was
can, and now you're starting to understand, like it is full on being a medium, and the impact that you experience, particularly when spirits show the way that they passed and some of the deep emotions,
yeah.
so the grief, you've got to be a pretty well-rounded person to be able to do this work.
Yeah, that was. I obviously didn't know what I was experiencing energy wise, why it felt the way it did, but then I certainly felt it lift from. I felt like literally that someone had actually physically taken a big weight off my shoulders, and I was able to go, oh, and then I sort of it moved into the, showing me that, he was the life of the party and all that stuff. And we since found out, afterwards that he was, born with some head trauma on the right side of his brain, and the way that he passed wasn't, it wasn't um, very nice, and that was the energy that I was experiencing. So, and then it
Yeah.
sort of shifted into, once we recognised it and moved out of that, then we lightened up a bit. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. And this is also something that I teach, and why, again, going back to this personal growth part of it, where we went in through Ignite the Light, we were looking at belief systems and childhood and some of the inner child work, all of these sorts of things that we have to unpack about ourselves and our own healing. So then we know what is true for us, and then what we know what is true for spirit, and in how they want to convey, so we can have a clear line between what is ours and what is theirs,
yeah,
and what,
yeah, definitely
yeah.
understood that now.
Yeah, and that's where one of the big learnings is, I think, too, but also, like as you said too, as the energy shifts, and again, that's why we need to know ourselves, our body, our own energy, and this is the sorts of things that I teach through the Reiki and through the Ignite the Light. In understanding all of this, so then, and everyone's different, they experience different things. Obviously, you've got very strong mediumship and psychic ability, which is, clairvoyant. So you're seeing visions, clairsentient, where you're feeling empathic, that type of thing as well, particularly for a man too. So, you've got quite a masculine presence, but you've quite got that, obviously, that softer, more intuitive side as well, and that creative side that, that is important, in this development.
And I used to struggle with that. I used to um, struggle with finding that balance and being okay with being comfortable in that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, hence why I started the journey. It wasn't, I certainly didn't ever think that I'd be doing that. Um, connecting with people's loved ones, certainly that like that soon, and everything like that. Like it's a journey for me. It's a
Yeah.
lot of answers I wanted to find within myself, and um, some healing, like I said, all a healing journey, and it's been a roller coaster of emotions along the way, and it's a forever evolving thing. It doesn't just go, oh bang, I'm healed straight away. Like um, there's still shit days, and like stuff that you move through, and um, yeah, but I think once I got grounded and once I sort of understood that and was proud of who I am and like of what I was achieving, and have certainly putting some personal boundaries in place about myself and what I was going to allow in and what I was going to allow to affect me, that I used to, probably once would have really affected me, that doesn't so much now anymore, that I'm sort of set with who I am, and what I'm all about. So
Yeah, and that's important. Boundaries really important, particularly, with people, and, particularly with learning to speak up and using our voice, but also, energetic boundaries as well too. So, once you start to become sensitive to energy, you start to,
yeah,
you're melding in with people, but not just with, so there's two sides to that, because there's,
yeah.
the living beings and the people,
Ooh,
and there's also the spirit beings, and the energetic boundaries that we need to have with them as well.
yeah, I found that one out too. That was a big one. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the other part too, I really would love to talk, a little about this guide. So we touched on, White Eagle before. So do you want to share, a little bit about that experience, and I guess your energy and and the connection that you've made with White Eagle, and how so White Eagle is your now spirit guide?
He is, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's yeah, which I wasn't, like, obviously knew that we always had, guides and stuff with us. But when I went to yourself to get the body work done, and I think he came through then. Um, if I can remember, there was a dominant sort of a Native American come through. And I
Oh,
sort of, yeah, really
yeah.
know much about it then. But yeah, certainly making sense of it now, like with things that have been happening in connection to Eagles and what's been going on for me. And yeah, then we went up to the New Age Festival. Is it New Age or New Life Festival? New Age Festival.
New Age
Um,
Festival, yeah.
New Age Festival, which was awesome. Like that was great. Still new experience for me, just going up there and checking that out, and yeah, going and seeing Leanne, and she's had a chat and just yeah tells you obviously what she does, and she connects with you guys and just draws it intuitively. And what came out for me was amazing. And when she finished, she was sort of a bit in shock, and she went, "Oh my goodness, you've got White Eagle." And yeah, she elaborated a bit on that, and yeah, certainly made sense, and it was awesome. I felt really grateful for that. And I can certainly, now I am able to understand his energy and connect there. It's a lot. Like it is a very overpowering, a very dominant. It's a bit full. It made me a little bit edgy to begin with, like a bit full, a little bit not scared, but a little bit like full, like
I use the word intimidated. So
yeah,
my,
very intimidating, very
yeah,
intimidating.
when I connected with
When
my
I
guide.
first started, it felt a little bit dark. But just because I wasn't used to it, and then once it sort of lightened up a bit, and I sort of relaxed into it and was able to see things and stuff, and there that was definitely that. And I'd done some research on him, so I thought, I'm going to research what's going on and what his history was, and he actually died on my birthday.
Hmm.
So I was born on the 4th of February, which is when he passed away in the 1800s. So yeah, I was just blown out when I found that out, and yeah, was lucky enough to get a book on him, and I've started sort of reading and that, and but yeah,
Yeah,
just on some YouTube videos and some stuff on the internet, it was crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
and he's definitely I've like physically felt myself be helped and guided along the way before I was even so in touch with my spirituality. Like I've definitely felt that there's been something or someone that's helped me, because
that
I could have done
reminds
it all.
me when I worked with you. Remember when I did the bodywork session? And it's interesting that you're sitting there with angel wings, because remember one of the
Oh,
visions that I had was basically your guardian angel, pretty much with her hand on your back, keeping you moving forward and on track.
yeah.
Like, so you having that presence and knowing that you had spirit support and guidance, and then obviously connected to angel wings, and then sort of having that validation and that show up. It's like, oh wow, like you've got like really strong spiritual support with you, which doesn't surprise me with, I guess, your journey and I guess now your mission, as a male, and your unfolding, and I guess the way in which you're going to help other people with this.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, there's no hopefully.
Yeah, to be honest.
Well, but in saying that, going back to self-healing as well too, you've
Oh,
obviously needed the self-support. You've obviously needed the angels, because you've done some pretty death-defying stuff, shall we say, like in
yeah,
your other
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah,
You like to
yeah.
push the boundaries a little bit with
I do.
motorbikes in
Yeah,
the air, and so it doesn't surprise me that you've got angels really trying to keep you alive.
yeah. Like, yeah, obviously I've got a really strong bonded group of mates, and growing up we did a lot of thrill seeking stuff on motorbikes and like cliff jumping and stuff like that. And how we still talk about it now, we'll get together and think, we'll talk about that. And like a lot of us have got kids now, and we say like, dude, how the heck are we still alive?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that doesn't just happen, but yeah, there's definitely been moments where I've felt like, geez, I've been saved here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and even like not so much with that, but like guided, like literally just guided in the right direction. Especially of
Yeah.
late, like the last couple of years, I've just felt it, and I've trusted it, and lent into that, and
Yeah.
it's shut for me. So
Yeah. And that's why I was just going to say that it's the trust. Like we can get the guidance and we can get the signs, and they can be, doing everything. But unless we listen, unless we trust it, unless we follow it, it doesn't really, have any real weight in our lives, and this is I guess the part where the understanding does come in as to how it works, how it connects, once we start to see that, then we start to trust it. And then you start to, allow yourself, to move with it.
Yeah, so for me, I had to trust it before I understood it because I was at a point where I was like, you know what I'm doing for myself and what with myself, it's not working for me. Like it's not, I know that there's more of me for me.
Yeah,
So I just thought, you know what, I just felt really called to it. Like I've got to trust in that. I'm I have to like
yeah,
because and trust that this is going to be. I'll get answers out of it. Like, and you know what, if not, I can always go back to what I was doing. But that wasn't me. It wasn't really working out for me.
yeah.
It wasn't
And
my.
I think, once you're on the path, I don't really think there's any getting off. Like
No,
you can't unknow what you know.
no, and you can't argue. But like I said, I can't argue with the experiences and the things that I've certainly experienced and had. Like, you
Yeah,
know, I was told a long time ago, years ago, that you'll lose people on the journey of self-discovery, and especially diving into your spirituality and stuff, it is quite personal. Um, and when you share that with someone, especially as a male, there can be challenges around it and people that want to, probably challenge you or, will sort of could definitely throw you off your path, So you just got to be, like I said, for me especially, it's just been about being setting some healthy boundaries now and
yeah,
like not letting things affect me that probably once would have. And that is because I can go back to the work that I've done and the knowing what I know and like the experiences that I've had. Nobody can argue that or take that away. So that's what's brought me back to itself and being grounded and going, you know what, it's really crap that people I'm experiencing this stuff, but I know within me what I am and who I am and what I'm experiencing, what I'm doing and what I've got. So that's all that matters. So
absolutely. And that is a huge and very key factor in all of this. And I always say you know what you know, and no one else can take that away from you. Like, this is where it becomes more about the experience rather than, I guess, the belief, because people
yeah,
can say it's a belief system or you are believing this, but then when you start experiencing and having this knowingness, it's a very different level of things. And it's like this is something that's very unique and personal to you, so hence why, and this is why I say to people, this is very much an internal, um, the work is within you, no one else can do this for you. Um, and in that you grow and develop, and then obviously, those abilities open up, which then also, enables you to be able to help and support others. But it starts with us.
yeah. And like it was, like I'm forever, evolving and changing and just moving with what's happening. And like I sort of, you know, like not everybody sort of, I do have a lot of people that I know and a lot of people that I was once close with that I'm not probably as close with now. And like, there's a small group of people that I'm really close with. And, um, those people certainly know me on a much more personal level than say other people probably think they do.
Hmm.
And I sort of say that, that like, not everybody will get the same version of me because not everybody deserves that version. Like I've
Yeah.
worked sort of hard to get to where I am. So I'm not going to just go and give that away, especially if I don't have to, because yeah, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, absolutely. And you don't have to either, you know. It's a choice. And even with who you share this with, whether you choose to do a healing for
Yeah,
someone or do a reading for someone, at this stage, it is very much a choice. Well, it's always a choice. Like we get to choose, who we share this with. And I guess that's, I guess discerning, because there are still, projections and belief systems and people out there, and that's okay too, because it goes back to, well, we know what we know, and we're not here really to try and prove anything to anyone either, because I always say spirit is smarter than us. They give us the
They're very clever.
information. Like we don't do it alone.
No, very, very clever they are.
Yeah, and that's again, that's that, stepping up, trusting, like you said before, you kind of had to trust and put your faith in something which you didn't really know, and I feel like I feel like we get tested in that, just to see how far in we are, and I
Yeah,
guess that's what faith and trust is all about, is, not, it's a bit of that deer in the headlights kind of thing. We kind of
yeah,
don't really know where we're going. We just have to,
yeah. Which can make it
believe.
very hard for people also to understand as well, which is, or you can understand that that's how people can view certain like ways and beliefs, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's in such a short time, I suppose, for myself, like 12 months.
Mm,
And I still feel like I haven't even scratched the surface.
yeah. And you
Certainly.
probably haven't, you know.
No,
Yeah.
like.
And the other part too, you mentioned a bit about anxiety, and a lot of that leads back to control. And this is also too where we kind of have to surrender, and let go of the reins and control, because in this realm of things, we are working with a big unknown, in stepping in. When you lay your hands on someone, and even when you lay your hands on yourself, you're going into an unknown. You're surrendering, you're opening yourself selfing up to something that works with you and through you, and
Yeah,
yeah.
certainly something that I'd always struggled with, was not having control as such, of like I like to know, okay, this is what's going to be happening. But certainly not so much anymore, just because of you can't sort of be like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, something I really struggled with was the control and letting go. But I just thought, what, like I said earlier, I'm ready to see what's going on for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's been awesome to watch your evolution, I guess, in the short space that I've known you, and the things that you share, and your dedication as well too, because some people, and again, it's a personal choice what people do with this and how much they put
mm.
into this. But really, there's no real separation either. This is not something that is.
That's dedication for me now. It doesn't really feel like, oh, I've got to get up there and do the sound bath. I've got to get to the Reiki. That's just what I'm doing. That's just what's happening. And
Yeah,
and like I said to the lads, like I'm going to drive up to the sound bath. Like you should come. You know, um, this is what I'm doing. And I remember my good mate when we got back, and he was floating for a bit and still, and he goes, oh geez, he goes, it was so good. He goes, oh, it's definitely something that you couldn't go to on your own. I'm like, dude, I've been going to these things on my own. Like I've been showing up. There's been like 10 or 12 um, older women, and just me floating around in a pool.
yeah,
So I've been doing it. But he loves it. Like he can't wait to do another one and dive in. So like I said, he's on a journey as well, and it's amazing. Like to see that as well.
that's right.
So
And I've just had the memory too that you went to Dan as well too, Dan, Peru. Well, you had
yeah,
that sound breathwork experience too, didn't you?
what a man, what a man. Yeah, and like
Yeah,
you shout out to because what he's doing, he's changing the game, and he's showing up for men. Like it
yeah,
was. He's just a beautiful human being, that guy.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But again, you were able to go say yes, and go, well, I'm going to go and put myself out of my comfort zone and go and do something I've never done before, and take some friends with me.
yeah. And again, there was like probably 50 people in the room. There was me, my good mate, and then there was one other guy there, which I was stoked to see, and I knew him, and I could sort of see that he was feeling a bit, oh, how's this going? And there was only three of us, so we were just chatting away, and I'm like, man, how good is this? And he ended up opening a little bit up about his journey and what he's got going on, and we ended up having a hug and said, like, man, whatever it is you got going on, like, this will be awesome. And left there, and you could just tell he was lighter, and we were like, it was just awesome. It was
Mm.
awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I
He's
guess
changing
that
the
was
game.
sort of also to my inspiration to run the men's sacred sound as well. So men could come together, because there seems to be, men a little bit, show up with a group of women, and they feel a little bit out of place. And then the women, is like, we want the men, but then I don't know, there's just this energy thing where we're not, it hasn't quite,
Haven't
melded
bridged that
yet.
gap yet.
There's still this thing that's going on
It's a big
energetically
gap
with
as
men and
well,
women,
you
and
know.
we haven't quite balanced it yet. So the idea to run the men's sessions, so then you can all bond and share this side of yourselves, because this is
Mm.
something that like you say, you keep it to yourself, and you lose friends over it, and all of that, because it changes you.
I'm sure there's a lot of men out there that are probably experiencing things and teetering on the edge. And like I said, it can be quite confronting and a little bit emasculating as well to just to go and put yourself in that space. Certainly has been for me. Like with the Reiki training, like again, it was amazing, but it was, I mean, was it eight or nine of us, and and me,
Yeah, well,
which is fine.
there was 10. So yeah, so there was nine women and one guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was amazing again. It was two day retreat, and um, I was a bit out of sorts, didn't know what to expect, but didn't have any expectations either. So, and then look, I think we were doing some laughter yoga with Mel, and I was walking around pretending to lay an egg as a chicken. I'm thinking, have a look at me here with nine women like laying an egg. What business have I got? Like I would never have done that once, but it was. I'm like, why not? Why wouldn't I have? And why not now? And it was awesome. Like, it was a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
I got a lot out of that, but other
Yeah.
than just the rugby training, which was awesome, I got a lot of stuff out of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of elements, and I think that was the whole thing too, I guess, with the Reiki is it's, we call it Reiki plus plus plus, because the way that I like to share and teach is all the things that I didn't get, in my journey of Reiki. So, I've added in so many things, you know, to help people in that.
Yeah.
And obviously, when I've got a group of people to do for attunements, I obviously need some help and assistance. So, Mel come in as a wonderful support there, and had her own.
Yeah,
Um,
it was beautiful
yeah,
there as
it was.
well. Like the whole,
Yeah,
I
there
could,
was
I
a
couldn't
lot.
recommend it highly enough to anybody.
Hey.
I couldn't recommend it highly enough to anybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we'll do level two in possibly January, early February.
Yeah.
Definitely everyone's sort of really ready and keen for that. So and then I'll look at a level one. I'm doing I seem to be doing one-on-ones, which is good, but then everyone sort of filters in through the one-on-one training into the group and the community that we have with the Reiki shares and the chat group that we have. So uh,
Yeah, that's a
it's
cool
yeah,
stuff as
it's
well.
quite supportive there. So you're not left on your own, because that's what I found as well too. That I sort of walked away from the training not knowing what I'd got myself into, and then I did find a support group which had Reiki shares, and I felt a part of a community, and I felt that I was able to share my experiences. So again, that's kind of, was my driving force to want to create this community and support for everyone as well,
Yeah.
and to keep
I've
people
been quite lucky.
encouraged to keep on the journey as well, because I often hear, people come to me for body work and they say, "Oh, I did Reiki years ago," and I'm like, "Are you using it?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, like, and I've even
Mm. And
had people
that's
come
the
back. Hey.
that's the other thing, isn't it? Like it's like you mentioned, like there's a lot of growth, especially within myself, like in 12 months. But you've got to be able to have somewhere to go. Like that's what I've been really lucky and fortunate to have connected, with yourself and the offering and stuff that you've had and the help along the way, the guidance and the knowledge, the teaching and stuff. I've been really lucky in that. So I'm
Yeah.
very very appreciative of that. But like I said, you can do all the work, but you've still got to be able to have somewhere to go, somewhere that provides someone that provides that stuff. And I think that's where it's everyone's really lucky to have the like the outreaches that you provide
Mm.
with all the training and the knowledge around that. So yeah, I really appreciate all that.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm certainly seeing the value from that. And I guess this was a part of that, wanting to help people understand, the benefits of all of this,
Yeah,
and why people would
yeah,
want to do this and become part of that. because I was thinking back to the time that you messaged me, and as a woman, and this guy's messaging me, and for me it's about boundaries with my business, and I was quite standoffish with you,
Yeah, yeah.
as I am with men, just to just start with, and I sort of gave you a bit of a hard time to
You
in
did, yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I've got like a bit of my ego thinking, well, hang on, like like I've got the pure intentions. Like, how can this be conceived anything other than that? And that's when I sort of went within and thought, you know what, just because I know that I'm sweet and that I don't have any, intentions other than wanting to, connect with this lady and she gave me a good reading and get some learnings, that doesn't mean that she does. Like, so I don't know her story. Like, I'm thinking, and then I felt really challenged. I felt like an absolute scumbag. I
Yeah,
thought, yes, like, like I don't know what's going on for her, and I've taken this as like that as personal. It's not personal. So yeah, I reached out again and said, listen, I've got to say, sorry. Not that I was rude, but just that I thought I took that as like, well, why would you think that about me? Well, why not? Why wouldn't you? And I was like I mentioned, look, I don't know your story, and just because like you, my intentions are fine, and just because I'm so sweet with my intentions of where they sit, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are. So I had to, I want to recognize that and say, you'll soon work out who I am
yeah,
just by, talking to me and, like lucky enough to form a friendship and they exactly think that's exactly what's happened, So yeah, it was a bit of a wake up moment, I suppose, like a bit of an understanding again. I thought, you know what, just because I'm so yeah, so sweet with what I'm at, where I'm at, like doesn't necessarily mean that she is, and yeah, so
yeah, yeah. No, well, as I say, it's just I always question, I guess people and what their intentions are, and all of that as well too. So
yeah.
say, but
And again,
I
it
guess.
was good for me because it was all ego based for me.
Yeah, yeah, which is interesting in that, but we've definitely overcome that, and obviously, and that's also too what I have to be really aware of too in the connections that I make for people, because a lot of people are drawn to me because of what I do and how I
Yeah,
can help and assist them. Like it's
yeah,
just how
yeah,
it is. So I have to be really clear with people with that, and set really good boundaries. So they know where they stand and I know where they stand.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and then we're all good.
yeah, very important, very important.
Yeah, yeah, it is very important, isn't it? But then again, we've also, and that's the thing for me, it is interesting because I do form, friendships with people that I meet through this work as well too, both men and women, so it's a beautiful thing for me because I get to meet amazing people and form, really great relationships with people, and I learn from them just as much as they learn from me as well too in this space
Yeah,
too. So, I can't do it on my own. And that was also another reason why I stepped into this work because I was feeling very limited and isolated, just doing the massage body work on its own. And Spirit was really pushing me to step up and to make changes and to move into collaborations and working with people and start doing the readings and then start doing the teachings and the trainings. And it's all sort of evolved and changed for me quite quickly
yeah.
over the last few years as well, too.
I remember when you were just talking about that, like you weren't even officially doing teachings. Like I pretty much just forced it on you, you know. And well, like I was lucky, but then you just hear and you sort of think about this is what you want to do, and you started doing it and doing it really well and doing it really naturally. I'm like, look at you go, you're actually doing all the teachings that you said that you wasn't sure whether you were able to do that, offer that, and like, well, you're doing it now, so. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've into that and done it well. It's been awesome. It's been really,
Yeah.
really cool.
So it's really helped me. It's really encouraged me as well, as I say, because it's a partnership really, because as I say, the people that need the support, and I've got the tools and the knowledge and I guess, as the guide and the mentor, because ultimately this is about you. It's not so much about me. I can give you the tools and show you the way. I feel like, I want to
Yeah,
preach to the world sometimes.
yeah,
It, but it's entirely up to the individual, what they take from it, what they do with it, and how they choose to share it or not. Some people it's a very personal journey for themselves. Others want to step out and help others. too. So, gosh, it goes quick, our time. I've had a little pop up to say that, you know. So, is there anything else that you'd like to share, or anything that you want to say about?
That I could share, but like I said, obviously we're limited for time. But um, yeah, I just like to anybody I suppose that is watching and that was on the fence about exploring this side of themselves. Yeah, definitely, for me, it's been an absolute game changer for myself. Showing up for me and the results and the rewards that come with that along the way have been a bonus. But what I've got out of it for me and it's just been next level. Like I love it. Been loving every minute of it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't thank yourself and everybody that sort of helped me along the way. Like and so I said everybody there's now it's going to be really lucky because if they head over to your website or however they want to reach out, they'll definitely be able to get some guidance and some help and some knowledge around that, which hasn't been there, I suppose, in the past that's now very pretty accessible. So it's awesome. What a way
Mm.
to start. Yeah.
That's the thing,
Not just
yeah.
for the guys, for the guys. We need more men showing up for the guys. Yeah, that's
We
important. Men
we
showing
do,
up
but
for.
but I think men need men as well too. And I think
Yeah,
people,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
someone like you will be a very good advocate and a very good leader and a very good, support for the men. And you're already doing that. You're already leading the guys. You're already supporting your mates, already with what you've learned, and
No,
inspiring
no,
them.
nice. Support as well.
Yeah, I think that's the key with this as well, that we just do it, and you lead by example, I think, and people watch, I have lots of people, they're in the background and every now and then they might chime in and they might say something. Even a friend today messaged me and just had some really nice things to say. And, people are always in the background, they might not say
Yeah,
anything, but
definitely to have that support, but then again, if it's not there, it's not there.
no.
I know what I am and what I've got, and I support myself and show up for myself. And at the end of the day, that's all I can do. And yeah, it's been working well, and I'm loving it. I'm
Yeah.
loving this journey. So
Yeah, and the word I'm getting is integrity as well too. If we hold ourselves in integrity and in our own truth, and I guess
yes,
inspire ourselves, and then if we inspire others, well, that's because again, I always say you can only help those who want to help themselves as well too. So,
yeah, I
um,
can lay the hand out, but how it's received, that's not on us, is it?
no,
Yeah.
definitely not. And even when it comes to the work and giving the guidance, the reading, the healing, or whatever, we are the channel. We are, that it works with us and through us as well. And we're not responsible for how that's received either, and what people do with that.
And another thing I'd probably want to say too before we cut off is just be mindful, especially when you're starting out. If you are starting out on the journey, and it's quite easy to get some negative feedback or negative comments that can really throw you off and really set you back, and throw you off the path.
Mm,
Um, if wasn't so in touch and so far along with the knowing, it certainly definitely would have done it to me. Like, um, so yeah, just be mindful of that and just be, like I said, sharp for yourself and just be mindful of that and don't let negativity throw you off your path.
yeah, beautiful. And reach out and find that support, the help.
Yeah, that's right. There's always someone that's gonna listen. Like yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I hope
Okay.
thank everyone for joining us, and hopefully it encourages you and inspires you to step into the world of spirituality and personal growth and energy and all of these wonderful, fun, and exciting and intriguing, mysterious,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the world of
That's it.
psychic development.
Look out.
Mm. All right then. All right. Well, thank you, Luke.
No, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
and
yeah.
you'll have to let us know when your website's up and running.
Calm down. Yeah, no, cool. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, I look forward to talking with you.
Yeah.